Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shai by Shem Rakakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Excuse me. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video Revelation 17 in the NLT. And I watched this video, not even 5 minutes in. Esau spread immortality over all the earth. So I didn't really look at it. I kind of briefly looked at this, and then I played it, and I said, let me make a video. I thought he was going into Revelation 18. I don't know why I said that, but when I came back, I realized he was going through Revelation 17. So I said, let me go to Revelation 17. And I realized, oh, he's already in it, Revelation 17. So, also, this term, which is going to be included in the title, is herd mentality. Now, I want to go into the term herd mentality. Herd mentality. Oh, I actually went into the word normacy bias. You can look that up. Normacy bias. If there's a major snowstorm and the government says you got to get out, after the snow hits and you need help, we can't save you. It's that bad. You might most likely die. People say, nah, it ain't gonna be that bad, and they'll die in a snowstorm or whatever, freeze to death, whatever the case may be. Same thing with tornadoes and hurricanes and. Really hurricanes, because out of hurricanes come tornadoes. So people kind of say, no, I've been living here for 50 years, ain't nothing happened. I went through other storms in the past, and that's normacy bias, meaning you don't believe it's going to be as bad. But anyway, another term came up, and the term here is herd mentality. Like I said, this is going to be part of the title. And what goes on in among these Israelite groups is definitely herd mentality. The various different groups teach different things. Like, for example, I'll say IUIC. When any of those individuals teach, they not pretty much, they regurgitate what they learned from the head or the heads. And the proof of that is, I'm just using IUIC. I could have used Sakari. Sakari they wear the baseball caps and they got the long hair, or some of them got bald heads, and the rest of the and they kind of like they don't wear like Middle Eastern style long garments. They might wear a hoodie with not even fringes on it, but with tassels. So that's a herd mentality. And it happens in GMS too. The way we dress or the way we speak, it's a herd mentality. But this is the difference. You brothers you men that are in GMS, or you women that follow, if we say something that's not kosher, you should really inquire about it. And we make it a business to make sure we break the scriptures down right. Don't just say, oh, the MOTB is a micro C hip because we said it. Say it because you heard us say it, and you did the research, and you found articles that back up what we're saying. So coming back to IUIC, the leader, not the leadership, the leader, which he hasn't been on YouTube. I would say 3 weeks to a month, or 3 weeks going on a month. And there was a point, what was this? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 1. It was almost 10 years ago. I didn't show up. This was 2015. I didn't show up to the camp, the Highways and Byways camp. And I wasn't there, and then all throughout that week, where's Tahar? He fell off. He don't go out no more. What's wrong with that guy? He fell off. And I went to the hospital I was in there for a couple of days, but they immediately jumped and said, yeah, Tahar, see, he fell off. Tahar fell off. I remember that, you know. So I said, well, I was in the hospital. I had what was this, streptococcus. So they had to, you know, put me on antibiotics and even steroids. They even told me steroids. And I was in there for 4 days, and I kept saying, when am I going to go home? Because I felt better after the first day. But they keep you in there just to make sure it doesn't come back, you know, it's out of the system. They wanted me to stay there 5th day, but I said, look, man, I'm good. And then when I left, I was good. Gave me some bullshit ass, what do you call it, pharmaceutical. I said, no, I'll take it for a couple of days, and that was good, you know. But people jumped on it. See, you niggas see, Tahar fell off. See, he fell off. Well, wait a minute. Where are the people saying that maybe Bishop Nate fell off? Maybe he just said, I don't want to do this. Maybe he became disenchanted. So if you watch the videos for the last 3 weeks to a month, no sight of that guy. Even on the shout out Tuesdays, the last shout out Tuesday that he did was an old video from back in 2022, and that's when he was in the hospital. He said in that video he came out the hospital to lead the Passover, and the doctors told him, you know, we don't advise that you should do this because your immune system is way low. And I believe I'm almost positive, but he didn't say it. He went through chemotherapy. That's some serious shit when you go through chemo. Because he said in that same, I'm not putting words in CT talking. I'm going by what he put. I'll go to the video. Put IUIC shout out Tuesdays, and you'll see that video. And he said after the Passover, he had went back in the hospital. So they showed him in a hospital. And the first thing that I noticed when he was in the hospital room was to the right of him, which is the left of your screen, was a big bag of sugar. I believe it was Domino's sugar. And the first thing that popped in my head, I said, hey, that, you know, every person got a big bag of Domino sugar, right? I don't got no sugar here. You ain't gonna bring no brown sugar up in here. Inside joke. Hey, the only thing I have that is considered sweet is honey. What do you call it? Manuka honey, organic honey. Yeah, I don't have that, you know, golden blossom, which is not honey. It's BS. They push the golden blossom. That's not real honey. I got the real, which is expensive. You know, there's certain jars of honey, like Manuka honey, the highest. It's called. I think it's called medical. Is it called medical? Medical grade Manuka honey, because it kills bacteria. There's a small bottle, maybe, I don't know, 4 ounces, if that. And it's like, if it's not 100, it's probably 100 now for that small bottle. But, you know, scientists have found out that Manuka honey, which comes out of New Zealand, and you have, I think the other honey is called Jolly Bush honey, which comes out of Australia. And what the bees do, you know the whole story about the bees. The trees that they eat off of is what is it called? Damn, wait a minute. I got it right here. Tea tree, which tea tree or tea tree oil from the tea tree tea is very medicinal. It's good for your health. So that's what you have. If you look for sugar, you ain't gonna see no Domino sugar. You ain't gonna see no brown sugar. You know, you ain't gonna see no sugar in the raw. You ain't gonna see none of that granulated sugar, as they call it, which white sugar is highly processed. So that's the first thing I noticed. I said, oh, well, then if that's in his hospital room, then he's probably drinking tea, putting sugar, something like five tablespoons or two, whatever. It's just supposed to sweeten it lightly. When I drink any type of herbal tea, I drink it. I don't even put honey. I drink it straight. I just deal with it. I'm getting ready to drink. I just put a brew together of parasite candida cleanse. From Dr. What's his name? Dr. Bobby something. Somebody help me out. I haven't seen his videos in a while. It's Jake. So pretty much most of us in GMS we take that, and they say Bobby Price, Dr. Bobby Price. So when I first got the first batch of it, which is 2 bags, it's 2 different bags, which you gotta do two. You gotta do one bag and take 2 tablespoons and whatever the case may be, and you put it in spring water, and then you drink that, and then the other tea you drink an hour later. You can't drink it back. And once you do it, it cleans your system out. But then you got to do it as a maintenance. You like you change your oil on your car once every 3 months or whatever the case may be. You do the same thing with your body. So your body's likened to a car. A car's likened to the human body, where you got to constantly maintain it. So anyway, that's the first thing I noticed. So I'm saying in my mind, I said, well, where's this guy at? I said, maybe he's back in the hospital. And he said in that same video, you can watch it for yourself. You talking shit to Hard City, you got a bald head, no, that's what he said in the video. He read it, go watch the video. That's what he said in the video. Are we gonna bring you to court for lying and making shit up? I got the matter of fact, I'm gonna make a copy of the video just in case they do send me to court. I said, wait a minute, I'm talking about the video that he put up. So, he said he spoke to his sister. I guess his sister had chemo. He said his hair fell out, his beard fell out, his eyebrow fell out, and he said he looked like there was a movie out. I believe John Travolta was the main star. It was called Powder. It was this Edomite that was white, that was pasty white. Cause he got struck by light, whatever the case may be. I remember seeing the movie years ago, and he said, look, I look like a black powder. And he said, I ain't going to Passover looking like this. And then the sister, I get the name of the sister, she said, don't worry, it's going to grow back. And it did grow back, because what chemotherapy does is it kills the cancer cells, but it also kills the good cells. So that's why shit start falling out and you're weak as hell. You look like you're ready to drop dead. And then it's the hopes that the good cells grow back stronger than the bad cells. But sometimes, you're good, then a couple years later, you got to go back. It comes back again. That's why you got to completely change your diet. Another thing, if you notice, Bishop Nate, he said he'll drink certain health things. You're pushing that health thing now, which we've been pushing that for years. One of the last videos that he did, I guess maybe a month or so ago, he had a drink next to him, and he said, "This is what did he say? It was a beet juice, which beet juice is great. Beet juice is great for you. If you have the high blood pressure, you drink that beet juice. You can't drink too much, but that right there, which the thing that's in that drink is NO, which is nitric oxide. Let me do this. There's not, if I'm saying it right, but they call it for short NO, nitric oxide, which brings down your blood pressure. Like if you breathe in slow, if you got high blood pressure, the doctor's gonna work on you, or we can't work on you, your blood pressure's too high. What they'll do, like they'll do it in the dentist too. If your blood pressure is too high, they want it to come down low, they'll give you like 16 ounces of water. Drink the water, chill out for 5 minutes, then breathe in and out slow and deep. And then your blood pressure goes down dramatically, because when you breathe in slow and deep, your body, through that act makes nitric oxide, NO, in your body. So it brings the blood pressure down. And most Jakes got blood pressure. That's from salt in your diet, bad food, sugar. Them rappers, they always going to the hospital dropping dead because they eat that garbage, But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get into this. That was the medical portion of this video. So it says herd mentality, right? It says not to be confused with herd behavior, which I might even look into that. Herd mentality is the tendency for people's behavior or belief to conform to those of the group they belong to. So every member of the IUIC, I'm just using them for an example, they all dress the same and they all teach the scriptures the same. Which it makes sense, because the leader's going to teach you. So they say, well, this is the leader, the Most High is working with them. But there's a problem when the teacher is teaching one thing for years, then all of a sudden he does a 180, and he teaches something different. He says, he doesn't say, well, we were wrong on this and let me explain why. He just teaches something. Like, I'll give you an example. IUIC teaches that there's an actual hell, there's a spiritual hell that you burn in forever. And I caught it maybe a year ago, and I said, man, you guys are going off. And I said that was never taught at the main school. Well, Yeshaya pulled it up a couple of times, and Yeshaya used to get checked by High Priest Ariah and really myself. But so I'm saying, what's this hell stuff? I said the IUIC is going off, and then I confirmed it by certain brothers doing videos saying there's a spiritual hell. There's a spiritual hell, and the Israelites going to burn in hell forever. And I put in hell. I went into the IUIC, put in hell or whatever, and there was a video that went back, I believe it was 5 years ago. And in that particular video, they wasn't teaching about a spiritual hell. They were saying that lake of fire is Babylon the Great on fire by the missiles. And in that video, they never mentioned anything. I forgot exactly what they said, but they would not, about 5 years ago, they were not teaching about a spiritual hell. So I was saying since I don't know what year they changed it, maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, but they just changed it. Scripture said, meddle not with them that are given the change. Another thing was, and we jumped on them. It was November, exactly November 2016. If you go back November 2015, IUIC was going by the new moon as the dark moon. November 2016, he had a special class where he's saying, I did this research on it, and I did this, and I found out, and the Spirit was working with me that the new moon is the full moon. So we jumped on it, and we were going back and forth with them about that new moon being the full moon. I said that's BS. So if you go back to November of 2015, they wasn't teaching that. And if you go back maybe 5 years, they weren't teaching about a spiritual hell. So my question would be to them is, what if the Most High came of 6 years ago and delivered y'all? Would y'all be good? Yeah, it would be good. No, you wouldn't. You'd be in hell because you believe that there's a hell now, which you didn't believe, 5 years ago. So what if that's true, that there is a hell and the Most High delivered the Israelites 6 years ago? Before you change the doctrine. That would mean that all of the members of IUIC would go to hell and burn in hell forever. So I said, that's stupid, man. When you read Psalms, I believe it's 136. I'm positive it's 136. How many times is the word mercy in that chapter? It keeps saying his mercy endure forever. So look up the word mercy. Even Esau got mercy. Somebody does something, kills somebody, they might give him 25 years, and with good behavior, it can be cut down to half of that, and you become a model prisoner, and then they let you out early, and then you become an advocate, for the crime that you committed. You turned around, you were rehabilitated. So guess what? That's Esau, the devil, showing you mercy. Now remember the woman in Luke with the judge, the wicked judge. Even the wicked judge did what the woman wanted her to do, even though he was wicked. So, matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to that. Give me a second. Let me go to King James. I believe it's at Luke 17. Let's see if I'm correct. Okay, that's not it. Let me do this. Let me try 16. Okay, that's the rich man and Lazarus, and I'm pretty sure they used that to bear me for a minute. Okay, you know what I got to do? Let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. Bear with me for a minute. The Poor Woman and the Wicked Judge, Bible. Okay, 18. I said 17, so I was off by one chapter. Okay, so it's Luke 18. We're going to get back into the main subject. All right, I'm going to go. Okay, 18:1. And he spake a parable unto the end, and men ought always to pray and not to faint. So Yahushua is telling the disciples, which became the apostles, keep praying. So what is a prayer? That you ask somebody as superior over you to give you something. When you go to, if you have a lawsuit, you have two parts of the suit. Once the other party's found guilty or whatever, you have a civil lawsuit for money damages. You got to restore him for him ripping you off, and then that's a compensatory damages. So how much did you lose out of this? I lost $10,000. So the guy that lost got to give $10,000, but then there's a punitive part where we're going to punish you now. So the punitive part could be $1 million. So that you learn a lesson. If you do this again, you're going to go broke. Anyway, let me get back into this. So the Yahweh Shai is saying to always pray. Ask the Most High to come and destroy this place. Ask for forgiveness. And if you keep bothering the Lord, He's going to get tired of hearing you and do what He's supposed to do. Although He has it in this time when this is going to come. It's just saying there was a city judge. There was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High. He was a wicked judge. Neither regarded men. Like, I don't care about your tears. You're going to get locked up. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him saying, avenge me of my adversaries. So that's us. We got this is Israel in the state that we in. We are that widow woman saying, avenge me of my adversaries. And he would not for a while. So this wicked judge ain't gonna, man, do the hell with that old woman. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard men, yet because this widow troubleth me, so you got to trouble the Most High, I will avenge her, lest by her continue coming she weary me. So you got to wear the Most High out. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not the Most High avenge his own Ooh, there goes the word elect. I've been speaking about the elect for the last couple days. It says, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect? Who is the elect? Not all Israel. It's a certain segment of Israel, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them. I will tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth. And he is going to find faith on the earth. The faith on the earth are the men that are out there on the highways and the byways. And it's not just GMS. It's other sincere men of other camps that are teaching the scriptures correctly. They just go off on a couple of things so they can be delivered too, because they're going to see it. Hey, the MOTB, IUIC said, no, they ain't with GMS. GMS, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, or ISUBK. Well, guess what? They're going to become believers. When it actually, I believe that Bush is going to make the announcement, we're going to chip everybody, and that's when they're going to say, oh shit, GMS was right. So anyway, let's come back to this main lesson. Herd mentality. Now, let's go back to, let's put IUIC on the back burner. Let's go to the ICGJC. When this guy, Comfy got that leadership position over the true leaders, which was at that time High Priest Ariel, High Priest Shaw. Then you had High Priest Yeshai and High Priest Kazak. High Priest Yeshai and High Priest Kazak. They left. They made it clear. Now I don't know the backstory. High Priest Kazak was on video about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, whatever, two and a half years ago, and he was going into that why him and Yeshaya left, and he basically said they sold out to the Rosicrucians. I wasn't there, So somehow they had a lot of young men that were really following after Tazadakia. So what he started doing long before he's a God sent comforter, they started teaching things like Joseph and Mary never had sex. That was a virgin birth. That which is a Roman Catholic doctrine. And when he put that out there, there should have been an uproar against some of the people saying, nah, you going off. And he, like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. They should have left. And there was other things. He was slowly changing the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. And he was incrementally, piecemeal, he was putting in a Roman Catholic doctrine. And then, some years in the future, he said, oh, I went to Israel. Now these guys are saying it fell off. Well, he never went to Israel. He never had a passport. He lied, whatever. But he said he had a vision that the Lord told him that he's a God-sent comforter. So when you go back to the comforter, which is found in St. John 14 and St. John 16, in those two scriptures, it goes into it, that the way it was taught was the comforter is the spirit that comes along with the scriptures. When it says, John says, he will sup with you in Revelation 3. So he said, I'm the God-sent comforter. And instead of people jumping up and saying, what, this is crazy, it's not talking about a man. And then he did a video, and it better not be a man. Then he went to one scripture. I think it was Elijah or whatever. But you can watch the video if it's still up. So right then and there, at least half of the people should have left. And nobody left. Then this man was committing adultery with brothers' wives. And the brother, like one example, the Ephraimite woman, the Ephraimite dude and his wife, they got an award. They had the Archangel Awards, if you go back that far. Here, you get this award for having a beautiful marriage. But guess what? He broke up the marriage by dealing with this woman. And then the guy stayed around. First of all, if that shit would have happened to me, they would have been held up in Harlem, for real. Okay? Let's just put it this way. I would have been locked up for the rest of my natural life. I'll get medieval on your motherfucking ass. Okay? Jake, man, Jake got that switch. When the Mosai hit that switch, Jake get medieval. And we gonna get medieval on you Edomites. And that's why Vocab is afraid. He's looking for a way out. Vocab, you better hope like hell you're not an Edomite. If you are an Edomite in the kingdom, you're gonna be the poster boy for getting your ass whipped. And they're gonna be posters of your ass. Esau, do you work hard, or you're gonna wind up looking like this guy. You're gonna be mingled up on the poster. And I pray, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that you are an Edomite. Because you could be a Jake. So if you're a Jake, you're good. You're not gonna make it, but you'll come back with your head hang down in the kingdom, pursuant to Daniel chapter 12. But if you're an Edomite, oh my goodness. Oh, we're going to be renting you out. I talk, can I get him this week? Yeah, go ahead, you take him. You're going to have a long line to rent your ass. You're going to rent you so we can rent you. Anyway, so that's another example. The ICGJC is another example of herd mentality. Most of these people that come into Israel, they get into part of a group. Well, they got the same mentality as the Jamestown. Now, who went down to Jamestown with the Jim Jones? Black women. You had a lot of black men that said, I ain't with this bullshit. Or they went to the island and said, no, and they left their wives and came back. They goes with Kamala. Let's go with Kamala. Jake woman was pushing for Kamala. Jake men was like, nah, we ain't with this bitch. And Jake men are sick and tired of the black women. Black women are begging. You got Jake women, so-called black women, that got college, they studied. They're making good, they're making six figures. They're making anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 to $500,000. They live in lush, but guess what? They're depressed and they're lonely. With all that money that they got, they're depressed and they're lonely because they don't got a man. Because Jake they got sick and tired of the black woman. They got sick. Look, I'd avoid a black woman like the plague. And guess what? They're feeling it now. And there's nothing you can do to get us back, because it's going to take you years and generations to get us back. But you will get us, we will come back together in the kingdom, because you're going to be put in order. The majority of you women out there, you're going to definitely die when the missiles hit this goddamn place. And Putin is talking about hitting the U.S. now. I put it on one video. I was looking at the thumbnail. I didn't watch the video, but Putin is saying, I'm going to hit the U.S. I'm getting ready to hit the U.S. So bring it on. So let's go back into this definition. Herd mentality. And I'm going to say this. Just because you're part of the group, just because you put some years in, just because you was on the highways and the byways, don't mean that you part of the elect. How many men have come into a GMS and have fallen off or got kicked out and went back into the world? And you thought them guys, well, nah, this brother, he hitting precepts, that precept, this precept, doing everything right. And all of a sudden the spirit goes out of him. He's guess what? He's going to take the chip and he's going to die. That's the main thing. Main thing is that chip. It's going to be a major shakeup when I believe that Trump is going to call for the chip. They're going to make it mandatory too, if you want to buy and sell. So let me go back to this. It said herd mentality is the tendency of people's behavior or belief to conform to those of the group they belong to. Really, it really goes to the leader, because a bunch of people follow the leader. You got a new person, a member that comes into that group, and they look at the leader and they begin to believe that the leader is God on earth, because the masses of the people, look at the people, look how many people. That numbers game, man. What is that? Ezekiel 11:16, small sanctuary. This guy Nate is pushing. We don't got the biggest camp, but we looking to be the biggest camp out there. Well, the biggest camp don't make it the right camp. The concept of herd mentality has been studied, and by who? By Esau studies everything. Thou art wiser than Daniel, and analyzed from different perspectives, including biology, psychology, and sociology. That's the body, that's the mind, and that's the people when you deal with people in the world. This psychological phenomenon can have profound impact on human behavior, because you become a zombie. Social psychologists study the related topics of collective intelligence. That's easy. Collective intelligence. Collective intelligence is shared or group intelligence that emerge from the, I can hardly see this, collaboration, collective effort, meaning coming together. Like you have a singer that was on top in the 80s, but here comes the new millennium, and his style is still 80s style. So what does he do? He collabs with a rapper, and he gets that new sound, right? So that's what people are doing. Like if they believe one thing, you as a Roman Catholic, you come into Israel, your belief changes because of a collaboration of Catholic beliefs and Hebrew Israelites beliefs, and then you slowly start to come over and you say, nah, I'm denouncing that whole Catholic stuff, right? Crowd wisdom. The wisdom of the crowd is the collective opinion of a diverse and independent group of individuals. Now, they were trying to get Kamala in through herd mentality, collective intelligence, and crowd wisdom. First of all, when you vote, that's your individual vote. You know, you got to get with this group. That's what Jake was pushing. You got to get with this group. Come to find out, Kamala was paying what's his name, Ricky Smiley, whatever his name is. uh, Hughley, Roland Martin, he got paid like $350,000, and it came to find out, and Tariq Nasheed got on his ass about it, and he's trying to explain his way out of it. She got $1 billion, and she's in the hole. I believe it's either 20 million or 200 million, meaning she got $1 billion to help her campaign, and in a couple of months, about 3 months, she's in the hole. She owes money now. So that was all a waste of time. Then what did she do? She just said, you notice she ain't seen her. She went to fucking Hawaii for a couple of weeks with her husband, with her Edomite husband. It says groupthink. Groupthink is a psychological mind phenomenon that occurs with a group of people in which the desire for harmony or conformity in the group. If you don't see it, brother, we're going to kick you out of school. I see it now. I see it now. Please don't take that purple and gold away from me. In irrational or dysfunctional, and they're dysfunctional. The IUIC, the ICGJC is definitely dysfunctional. You know? It says decision-making outcome, cohesiveness. I can hardly see these words, bear with me. Or the desire for cohesiveness in a group may produce a tendency among its members. I'm not going to read the rest of it. De-individualization. De-individualization. In other words, each person has an independent mind as to what they're going to do, their beliefs, the belief system. You can have a family. Your brother can grow up to be a Muslim. The younger brother could grow up to be an Israelite. The sister might marry a Ephraimite and become a Roman Catholic. So they got individual thoughts, right? So individualization, tongue twister for me, is when you when they're no longer thinking for themselves. They're thinking a part of the group. Whatever the leader says, the group is with it. And no matter how mad it sounds, you know, mob behavior. The idea of a group mind or mob behavior. All right, was first put forward by, Sigmund Freud. This demon, put forward by 19th century sociologists. And then it goes into it. I'm not going to read all of it. Herd behavior in human. Herd behavior in human societies has also been studied by Sigmund Freud. And these are Edomites. So like I said, going back to the IUIC, we don't know what the deal is with Bishop Nathaniel. We believe he's back in the hospital. I hope he gets better. I hope the Most High bless him, and I hope the Most High open his eyes to teach the right way. Now, if he is in the hospital, I would say this: he keeps playing with the name of the Most High and with the scriptures. He keeps changing the scriptures, man. What does Proverbs 29:1 say? I'm not going to read it or speak on it. Y'all speak on it. You know? What does Proverbs 29:1 say? Somebody put it up in the chat. So I read about the woman, right? I read about the woman. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my main topic, which is I did a lot of went on a rant, but I hope y'all learned something from it. You got to have an individual mind. If I all of a sudden say, brothers, hell is real, we were wrong about that. Nate was right. You supposed to attack me. You supposed to say, man, Tahar, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Did you sell out? You know, if I say something, I gotta. Hey, the scripture said, "Prove all things," right? Whatever you say, you gotta have the backup with it. So let me see. Let's go to Revelation 17, and I'm gonna go to the NLT, like the elder was going into. Okay. So I believe he just did 2 verses. I'm gonna see if I can go a little deeper. It says a little further. It says one of the 7 angels who had poured out the 7 bowls came over and spoke to me. Come with me, he said, and I will show you the judgment that is going to come on the great prostitute. The great prostitute. Who rules over many waters, many nations. The kings are called presidents now, prime ministers, presidents, right? The kings of the world, or the presidents of the world, have committed adultery. Did they commit actual physical adultery with this prostitute? No, the prostitute is Babylon the Great. Which is the U.S. So they have policies together with the U.S. The UN is in New York in the U.S. for a reason, because it comes out of the mind of the Edomite. So you got all these nations coming together in peace, and really the UN, when you look it up, matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. Let me ask a question. What was the purpose of the UN? The United Nations was created in 1945. That was right at the ending of World War II, to maintain international peace. That's all I want. They brought this thing together to maintain international peace. Is there international peace going on? Ukraine shot long-range missiles at Russia. Russia retaliated with ICBM missiles, but they didn't have warheads on it. They shot them without the warheads, and they did some major damage. But if they had warheads on it, Ukraine would be, they'll knock them back to the Stone Ages. So they ain't even showing their whole power. It's just like a boxing guy. Look, I can knock you out with this right hand, and then he hit you with a jab, and he put you on your ass with a jab. So you get hit with a jab, which is not a power punch necessarily. If this guy puts you on your ass with a jab, you can just imagine what he do with that right hand or that hook. So that's what Russia did. Russia was saying, okay, you want to play rough? Okay, we're gonna shoot some ICBMs on your ass, or missiles on your ass, but we're not even gonna use the warheads. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. All right. It said the United Nations was created in 1945 to maintain international peace. Is that going on in the world? So the UN failed their job. And security for the whole world. Meaning, when they put the dream of the United Nations, which all but 2 nations are part, the Palestinians are not a member. They've been trying to get them as members, but they ain't letting them in. The dark nations want Palestine in. The Edomite nations don't want Palestine in. The Vatican City is also a nation. Those are the 2 nations that are not a part of the UN. You have what? Almost 200 nations worldwide. You got 55 nations or nations in Africa. And all those African nations, they all have seats in the UN. So if there's a war going on, Russia is a part of UN. Russia is the Security Council. The top five. The top five Security Council is America, France, China, England, and Russia. And then you have a sixth. It's called the UN Security Plus One. The plus one is Germany. Those are all major countries that some of them are not all, if some of them, if not most of them, if not all of them, possess missiles. So wait a minute. There's a war going on with one of the Security Council members against a member of the UN, which is Ukraine. This has been going on for a couple of years already. Now Putin is talking about shooting missiles on America. So where's the fucking peace at? This is all bullshit. Maintain international peace and security. Promote the well-being of world's people. There's no well-being, man. People are dying left and right. The ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, and I'm going to go into that too. The internet. Where'd you get all this information from, Tahar? I go to Google, nigga. That's a t-shirt. Let's go to, matter of fact, let me keep reading. It said promote the well-being of the world's people and encourage international cooperation. Ain't no international cooperation going on. It's a stronger nation taking down a weaker nation to take their resources, man. The fuck y'all talking about, man? So what did I say I was going to do? Okay, let me go to the I. Let me do this. International Criminal Court. Okay, now hold up now. Okay, this is the FDR. Okay, this is right where the UN is. This is right where the UN is. So the court is right where the UN is. So let's get some information. International Criminal Court. It so happens to be in America. It so happens to be, actually, wait a minute. It's in the goddamn UN. They didn't tell us that. Location, 860 UN Plaza. Address, 866 United Nations Plaza. New York, New York, New York, and New York. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. I didn't know this, man. I thought the ICC was like in, Switzerland, some goddamn where. It's in New York. Image. Let's go to image. Okay, this is on the same campus, or if not inside the UN. Okay, you can walk here from the UN. I believe it's on the other side of the street. I used to do deliveries here all the time. Okay, so let me see here. International Criminal Court. Yeah, I believe it's right across the street of the UN. Just come on back. Let me do news. So this is the latest news on the ICC. Is Israel Hamas war in Gaza, Hezbollah ceasefire talks 2 days ago, arrest warrant for Israeli leaders, amplify Democratic rupture. Not the greatest reader in the world. One day ago, how can the ICC, International Criminal Court, persecute leaders of Israel, which is not a member? Wait a minute, let me open this up. So this is a jurisdictional thing. Israel is not an ICC member. Now, now I wonder why. I wonder why. How can the court persecute Israeli leaders? So they were slick. They said, no, we ain't going to be part of that because we doing some dirt. If we do dirt, we going to be called. So it's a jurisdictional thing. If you rob a bank in New York and you in New Jersey, you escape to New Jersey, New York can't do nothing to you unless they have evidence. It's called what is it called? What's the fucking word? Extradition. That's why you got a lot of people that are, that been rubbed shoulders with P. Diddy. They're all leaving the country, man. They're all leaving the country because they say, well, they're going to get us too. We're going to be implicated. Israel is not an ICC member. So what the Israel government should do is say, well, wait a minute, you have no jurisdiction. It's all about jurisdiction. How can the court prosecute Israel's leader? And then guess what? The ICC is now anti-simp. The jurisdiction of the court in The Hague in the Netherlands, can extend beyond member states. Let me go to the court in The Hague. Let's deal with that. I believe that's called the World Court. Bear with me for a minute. Criminal Court in The Hague. That's in Netherlands. The Netherlands. The news 3 days ago. Situation in the state of Palestine. Because they're charging them with crimes against humanity, which is genocide. It says a situation in the state of Palestine, ICC, International Criminal Court, pretrial chamber rejects the state of Israel challenges to jurisdiction. So they're saying, nah, you ain't got jurisdiction over us. And issues warrants of arrest for Benjamin Netanyahu, and that's for war crimes, a genocide. And then they got the U.S. supplied money and weapons with them so they can be. This is a hot mess. Okay, so let me read this. Situation in the state of Palestine, ICC pre-trial chamber. Rejects. I guess that stands for Israel. Israel rejects the state of Israel's challenges to jurisdiction and issues warrants of arrest for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. Let's get more into this. Today, November 2021. Today is the 24th, November 2024. Pretrial chamber, International Criminal Court, and in its composition, blah, 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 blah. Decision on request by the state of Israel. Trying individuals for genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and aggression. Hey, Jake should go to this fucking court, get your reparations. Which Esau's not going to give you the reparations. It's not about a money thing, it's a power thing. They can give you the money. They can write checks and give you the money. But what they're really afraid of is not the fact that they're giving you money, the fact that Jake is going to take this place over like they did the Roman Empire. I go into that all the time. Okay, trying individuals for genocide. This is the purpose of the International Criminal Court, which works with the the World Criminal Court from in the Hague, in the Netherlands. The purpose of the ICC is for trying individuals for genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity. Slavery was a crime against humanity and aggression. See, Jake is trying to go to the White House or the DC. No, you got to go to the international. You in the wrong jurisdiction. You're in the wrong jurisdiction. You got to go to the International Criminal Court. Hey, Malcolm X called for that too, and then he got killed. So now there's a convention called the Genocide Convention. So you can go into that. Anyway, let's get back into this. Both Republicans and Democrats are for 100%, 110% for Israel. What's this guy? Trump made that clear. He said we're 100% behind Israel. Democratic, we're 100% behind Israel. They get billions of dollars a year. But the military is, matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this. Yeah, I don't got to do this. Let me go back into the scriptures. So when you go up in the higher government, there's a lot of government period. There's a lot of corruption. That's just the nature of the business, so to speak. So now let's go back to Revelation. And this is why Christians never touch Revelation, Isaiah, Jeremiah. They never touch these end time prophetic scriptures because they don't know nothing about it. They don't know. They don't understand. So second verse, the kings, which is the presidents. No, it says kings, brother. There it says kings. There's only one king. The king ain't, man, shut the hell up, man. The kings represent, when you look that word up, the word is Bazalel, I believe, which means leader. Isaiah 14, when it speaks about the king of Babylon, is talking about the president of Babylon. It said the kings of the world, or the earth. Now, I bet you that word there is oikomeni, but I'm not going to look it up. Have committed adultery with her. The her is who? Babylon the Great, the U.S. What does it mean that they committed adultery? They did do deals with them. And if you don't do a deal with Babylon, then what they do is they'll demonize the leader and say, well, he's killing his own people. We got to go in there and stop that. And there's no evidence on that. Then they start a war. Then they kill the guy. Then they put in the puppet leader. And the people who belong to this world have been made drunk by the wine of immorality, to be not moral. So who are the people of the world? They could be Israelites that are not of the elect and the other nations. What's going to seal the deal is they're going to all take that micro C hit. So the angel took me in the spirit into the wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting, and John actually saw a woman, and he got aroused by that woman. She was looking very alluring. It says, I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-colored beast. What does that beast represent? That represents NATO and the EU. The woman represents Babylon the Great, the U.S. That has 7 heads and 10 horns and blasphemed. The 7 heads represents the NATO, and the 10 horns represents the EU. But they're interchangeable. You have NATO nations that are part of the EU. EU nations are part of the NATO, and so forth and so on. Turkey, for example. England was part of both NATO and the EU, but they broke out. There was a thing called Brexit, which Britain exits the EU. Turkey is a member of NATO, but they're not a member of the EU, and I believe they want to be a member of the EU. Ukraine wants to be a member of the EU, but they're not allowing them to be a member of the EU because as soon as Ukraine becomes a member of the EU, guess what? The NATO and the EU has to fight. That's World War III. That's Armageddon right there. So they know that. And blasphemed against the Most High, the Heavenly Father, and his Son, were written all over it. So they're against the Most High. 4th verse. The women wore purple and scarlet color of clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems, which represents the riches. That's why it says the United States is the richest country on the planet Earth. In a way it is. And pearls in her hand, she held a golden goblet full of obscenities. You can look that word up. And the impurities of her immorality. So what do you have in this country? They protect who in this country? They protect the alphabet people. You know? And they were pushing it. They had Kamala Harris go to Africa to try to, with a checkbook in her hand, trying to push that. Who was that? Ghana, I believe it was. But most of them countries in Africa, they're dead against that, man. It says a mysterious name was written on her forehead, Babylon the Great, the mother of all prostitutes, which means she's a madam, mistress or madam, and obscenities in the world. So what are the this has nothing to do with the MOTB, by the way. The MOTB is not necessarily immoral, but it goes against the commandment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's not immoral. Immoral is when you a man and a man have relations. A woman and a woman have relations. A woman have a relation with a beast. You change your plumbing. That's what it's talking about. So they have laws to protect these people. Let me do this. Give me a second. Back at the herd mentality. Matter of fact, let me go over here. Okay, let me see. Laws in the U.S. to protect the alphabet community. Let's see what comes up. Okay, Senate. Okay, this is September of 2024. Senate Intel hearing, key question, election, blah, 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 blah. Okay, boom. I'm the water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This was July 26, 2024. Where does Kamala Harris stand on the alphabet rights? Let me open this up. I'm not going to read the whole article. See, we filter the scriptures. This is why we don't waste time with a Christian, man. We don't waste time with a Christian because they don't know the scriptures. God logic is clueless when it comes to the prophecies. And that's what Captain Zari should have went. He's the hell with playing the rules. Ask him an off question. Ask him about what do you know about the prophecies? What do you know about Revelation 18, Revelation 17, Jeremiah 50, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 34? What's this all about? Who are the Idumeans in Isaiah 34 in the King James Version? Well, we're not talking about that. Well, let's talk about that for a little bit, He doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't know how to break it down. That includes this guy, Vocab Malone. Vocab Malone doesn't understand the prophetic parts of the scriptures. Where does Kamala Harris stand on alphabet rights? Look what she's dressed as. It's showing you what she's wearing. What's the context? Prominent alphabet advocates have lauded presidential hopeful Kamala Harris record on supporting happy people. Alphabet groups came out in support of Kamala Harris. Alphabet people came out in support of Kamala Harris. Why? Because she's pushing going to Africa saying you got to pass laws to protect them, not lock them up or kill them. Some of them African nations, they'll kill a alphabet person. Vice President praised for record on alphabets. Harris. So that's when you go back to Revelation 17:4. That's what it's talking about when it says immorality in the NLT. When it says obscenities in the NLT, it says Harris expected to become Democratic presidential nominee. She didn't become a nominee. A nominee. She ran as a candidate. They didn't have a primary for her. It says London, as U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to officially become the Democratic Party presidential nominee, which she never became a nominee. She was a candidate. More than 1,100 prominent alphabet advocates threw their weight behind her this week in an open letter of support. So let's read. I'm not going to read the whole thing. What is Harris' record on alphabet groups? Harris' history of supporting alphabet rights goes back, check this out, I didn't know this, goes back at least 20 years. 20 years to her time as San Francisco. We know what that's all about. District attorney between 2004 and 2011. So this is what she stands on. Okay, while in the role, she officiated some of the country's first same-sex weddings. So she married people off. This is why Jake men didn't want to vote for her. This is one of the reasons, man. And your black woman, they were lined up to support her, man. And them same women, and one of the reasons is my body, my choice. That's all I got to say. Last night we were listening to, I'm going to call him Pastor Yawasop. He was going into abortion, and it was a very good class that he did. You know, he didn't go into a whole lot of precepts, but he went into, the whole abortion thing. It was very good, you know. Although these marriages were later nullified by the wait a minute. So she was going up against her state. She married off a lot of alphabet people, and the state said, nah, this shit ain't, no, we don't recognize that. Harris also created a specialized hate crime unit to address alphabet violence in schools. After becoming Attorney General of California in 2014, Harris spearheaded a state ban on happy panic or trans panic. 2015, she was criticized for rejecting a request from trans people inmate to undergo gender affirmation, meaning change your plumbing, a decision she later said she took full responsibility for, but which she had contradicted her own beliefs. And let me read that again. In 2015, she was criticized for rejecting a request from a trans people inmate to undergo. She said, I ain't with it, but then she was for it. It says, but which she said contradicting her own beliefs. Wait a minute. Surgery decision. She later said she took full responsibility. This is her record. let me see, 2018. She also drew criticism for supporting laws which sought to nationally curb X work, leading to the removal of websites that right groups said were vital to ensuring trans people, workers, could operate safely. As Senator and Vice President Harris has supported the Equality Act, which seeks to protect, keyword is protect, alphabet people from discrimination nationwide. The bill has stalled since its first introduction in 2021. So she wanted to make a federal law, in other words, hate crime. She also backed the Respect for Marriage Act passed in 2022 to ensure all states, federal, the whole country recognize same-sex marriages. So we don't got to read no more, man. That's why she's the VP. So let's come back over here, and I'm gonna land this plane. Let's go to the fourth verse again. Revelation 17:4. The woman wore purple and scarlet clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems and pearls. In her hand she held a golden goblet full of obscenities and impurities and immoralities. Anyway, I went along with that. It's on to the next. Shalom.